and the fact that this here was a military 30 years ago. This was a military, maneuver here to kill M.O.V.E. When Rizzo failed in '78, but it was long before Rizzo took the stand that he took, and because they tried to beat M.O.V.E. into submission, and tried to jail M.O.V.E. into submission, and before May 13th, 1985, they had killed several M.O.V.E. babies. Alberta, Africa, and after a peaceful demonstration exposing the injustice in this system, our women was locked up. Alberta, Africa was snatched out the cell. She was pregnant. A black matron by the name of Robinson repeatedly kicked her in the womb right at 8th and Race, the roundhouse, until she miscarried on the floor. Janet, and her baby was, she was in the, I think it was Pine Street, and but she was beaten, and her baby, and she had a miscarriage, and her baby Delisha was murdered on May 13th, 1985. Janine Africa, who lost her husband, and was a warrior when he went in, and a warrior all the way to the end, and set good, strong examples, was murdered in that prison January the 10th. Or January the 11th, he was murdered inside that inside the prison. And but Janine Africa, who lost 2 sons in this battle, and 3-week-old life Africa, when the cops came out to our home in 1976 and was beating M.O.V.E. people, and one cop grabbed Janine, the cops grabbed both of her arms, and the baby fell to the ground, smashing his head. So I'm saying we got a history with these motherfuckers, and we're going to keep on giving them more and more history, because we're going to continue to set a strong example and expose the weakness in people that would drop bombs on babies. I was reminding people a little bit earlier that Leo Brooks, who was the city managing director, who came into Philadelphia from Alexandria, Virginia, he was a brigadier general. His whole family know nothing but war, the Vietnam War. He was the general over top of that. His son, and another one of the Brooks brothers, right? And was a head brigadier general in the Iranian War in Iran, and the other son in the Afghanistan War. And I'm saying these are the people that Wilson Good brought in here. He was never brought in here to be the city managing director. He was here 1 year and a half, and in that time that he was here, and the police attacked us, and in our defense, and we did what was necessary. We took the bullhorns inside this neighborhood, and we asked, and the neighbors at first was going to Mayor Good about what was happening with us, and but it had kept going on and on and on, and they were sort of a pawn, because we wasn't backing the hell back, and we was demanding, like we're demanding today, that our innocent brothers and sisters be released, and that's what that was about. And also it's about the urban removal, because the neighbors here have been fighting this whole thing where this government is taking all the houses. They have lied and put these people under terrorism for 30 years. And I want to applaud the neighbors in the 6200 block of Osage Avenue that say, hell no, we won't go. They're demanding what's right. We had our differences, and but one thing, we believe in uniting people together. And again, there were pawns in this fight, didn't quite understand what was going on, but they understand now the dangers of of this system.
Austerity is war on the poor. Every bomb that explodes in Palestine or in Afghanistan explodes at massive poverty here in this country. People have to become aware of class. We've got to make it our mission to make people aware of class. So just to give you some points on that, but I'm going to close by saying, free Mumia Abu-Jamal. He is completely innocent. The Philadelphia police, as well as the Baltimore police, are the Totemacoots of capital society. It's time to end the rule of capitalism. Capitalism is the enemy of all poor and working people. And it's time for us to crush this fascist system of war and racism that keeps us all oppressed. Thank you, my brothers and sisters.
Following this case, this very, very troubling case, which is of enormous precedent, then and now. Today is the first time I have actually seen the house that was the subject of the bombing. And as I was standing in front of the house and looking at the other houses that are still, to this day, uninhabited, I was reminded of how a 15th century political philosopher by the name of Niccolo Machiavelli, in his book titled The Prince War, there were two ways of fighting, he said. One with arms and one with law. And what we have been seeing in America, a land that calls itself, projects itself around the world as a land of liberty and justice for all, is the time-honored, depending upon the perspective of some, practice of using law as a weapon of war. I'm also reminded of the fact that the past is prologue. And for those who cannot remember the past, you are condemned, as one very wise brother said, to repeat it over and over and over again. If the individuals who were responsible for that bombing in 1985 had been held accountable for what they did, we would not be having the Trayvon Martins and the slew of others, exemplified by some of these signs here today, that have transpired since. So I want to congratulate and salute my brothers and sisters in M.O.V.E. for staying the course, for continuing their resistance, for being the front line of support for a courageous journalist who had the courage among the very few to report on what happened in 1978 and who is paying the price, and for so many others engulfed in this corrupt system, enveloped by law being used as a weapon of war. And I also want to support those of you who have continued to support M.O.V.E. and for those especially who, like the young man who preceded me, traveled far and delivered one of the most insightful and informative capsulations of this struggle of M.O.V.E. that I've heard from anyone. I want to congratulate him for that, thank him for that, and again, thank you. May God bless.
P.Law is going to perform for us now from what he called the uncell.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Free Mumia! Free Mumia! When I was in Greater Ford, the police called me the voice of the voiceless. That Mumia was entitled Voice of the Voiceless until I read his book. I took it as a compliment then, and I take it as a compliment now. She's all crazy. Gonna paint a picture in prison, baby. Come on. You don't want to feel like real life, baby. Shout out to Mumia.
upon a time and a place where it's cold at. We're young and old cats, old stacks and old gats. When it's drama down, hold back. Not a trick, bitch, but someone's rich cause they so crack. So smack and powder in the courtroom. They don't clam up like chowder. They just dig it on the chin. Like Bernard Hopkins. Boxed in, never run like a stocking. Never snitched up before dishonor. No accomplice, I was on my own, your honor. That's what I told the judge when the police got me. But not my man when the plan was a robbery. When they said a pair came in the edges, so he gave me double time when it came to the sentence. DA boxed me in, PA locked me in. They got me in, they got me in.